AOEs are the most important thing in the game. The premise is you have multiple enemies in a fight, they attack all the enemies at one time, makes them extremely useful. Now, you have single hits too. The caveat here is that they usually do more damage per pip. As you can see, this spell right here is doing 200 more damage than this spell would at 5 pips, right? They're good too. So what happens if you combine the two? Well, that would be a disaster. Good on paper, sucks in game. These 4 pip Mirage spells are not used at all, and that is because they suck. So they are super situational, and honestly, there's really no reason to go out of your way to use them. Now, let me explain. So, let's look at Iron Sultan, for example. It does 1092, but the whole premise of these Mirage spells is that they divide the damage per enemy. So the more enemies you have, the less damage they're going to do. Now, if you take 1092 divided by 4, we'll go ahead and do that now. You get 273 per enemy. And 273 for 4 pips is terrible. Tempest at 4 pips will do 320 damage. So this is already doing less than than a regular 4 pip AOE, and at no expense of a shadow pip, which takes forever to get anyways. The point of these is that they double down as a super good hit for singular hit for 4 pips, which sure admittedly they are. However, the shadow pip, or if you've got 2 enemies, you divide it by 2, it's still not terrible. You're doing 600. This is 600 damage per 2 enemies. But here's the thing. So I made a cool little chart here of pretty much all of these spells here for school, and if you do the math here, if you're attacking 4 enemies, every single one of these 4 pip AOEs are better. If you divide all of these by 4, then these spells will all do more damage per enemy. Now, just in case you forgot, like I did, all of these spells right here were nerfed. They used to do all in thousands. Now, currently, the only one that still left in the thousands is Iron Sultan. That one was hardly even nerfed. But all of these spells were nerfed 200 to 300 damage. So now they're pretty much outperformed by all of these regular 4 pip AOEs that you can just cast like crazy. Like at no expense at all. You don't have to wait for shadow pip. The only way that these spells, these shadow spells, Mirage spells, are going to outperform these 4 pip AOEs is if you're attacking just 2 enemies. But here's the thing. If you're doing a street fight, maybe you could make the argument that these would be better. But the thing is, the chances of you getting a shad pip first turn are very minimal nowadays. And there's no point to carry these in your deck because the likelihood of you getting a shad pip first turn doing more damage is so minimal. You might as well just pack more of these, and then you're able to get 2 of them back to back before you would even think about getting a shad pip, because that's just how unlikely you are pulling one. Now, you look at a boss fight with the boss, the minion, would do more damage than a 4 pip AOE, yes. Would it do more damage than your regular 7 pip? Well, here's the thing. Maybe it would, but if you've got a shadow pip and you're thinking about hitting shad, by the time you get all your blades, your traps, your feints, whatever, you compare these to all of the rank 5 to 6 arc 3 hits, AOEs, arc 3 AOEs, there's really no point to use this over this, because what is the likelihood that you would have your whole attack set up, your blades, your traps, your feints, etc., and be at only 4 pips? Probably not very likely. And even if let's say you did have 4 pips, what is the upside of using this spell over just waiting one more turn and using a spell that is infinitely stronger, right? So if you compare all these Mirage spells to the AOEs you get before Mirage or around the time, excluding life at Wings of Fate, because Wings of Fate is absolutely trash. So maybe for life you would want to use the spell anyway. But if you compare all of these, almost all of these shadow spells, the base damage does more than the Mirage spell does, which, by the way, you're dividing into two enemies, which divides the damage. And if you divide it by 2, then it still is. So it's pretty ridiculous. Like, if you look at Nested Fury, the weakest attack does more than Sandworm, which is going to do 300 something if you hit both a boss and a minion. And even if you hit just the boss, Nested Fury still does more. So there's no point in waiting, in being impatient and hitting with 4 pips when you can just pass a turn. You're going to get a power pip and you're going to be able to use all of these spells anyway. And as you can see here, I put Musicology because I think Musicology is really comparable to Glowbugs. And yeah, so I just put it there. Yeah, maybe if these spells were back to doing 1,000 damage like they used to, they would be pretty useful. But you're in a boss fight, you divide it by 2, these spells are doing less than your AOEs, your 4-pip AOEs, which cost you pretty much nothing to use. You're going to be able to use them right away. You're in a street fight, very situational, still practical to carry this in your deck, to be honest. And you got your whole attack set up. Chances are you're going to have more than 4 pips, and these spells are going to do significantly more damage anyway. There's like the practicality here is so obsolete. I just don't get it. I don't get why they nerfed them. Yeah, that's my little rant. It's been your boy P. Thanks for listening to me yap. Peace.